Oh, we're doing it. Yeah, we're doing it. You know what time it is. You know what time it is. It's the last stream of the week. That's what's going on. Last one. Last one of the week. And you know it. You know it. Stream's up. Yeah. Hope everyone is well. Hope everyone is having a happy Thursday. What's up, Dan? Dan, I'll be seeing you tonight, right? Is that you're coming to the thing tonight? The live political vigilante with Mr. Graham Elwood and myself and the miserable liberal Steph Semirano. What's up, Frederick? How are you? What's up, Karen? Good to see everybody. Happy Thursday. Hello, Emma. How are you? I hope you are wonderful. I'm doing great here. I'm getting ready to get my news on, find out what's going on in the world. What's up, misanthropic cat? I have a misanthropic cat. She's over on the couch. Bluebells, Surfing with Putin tour. If I can be so lucky, yeah. What's up, Daniel? What's up, Dan? What's up, James? What's up, Susan? What's up, Andre? Hello in Mexico City. I gotta visit Mexico City. I've never been. I heard it's an awesome place. Never been there. I've only ever been to Tijuana. Howdy, Chris. Good to see ya. I can't wait to see you in a couple weeks. I'll see you in Indianapolis. What's up, Eric? What's up, Mizzy? Thank you for doing this show. It is appreciated. Well, thank you for watching this show. That is appreciated. Plus, Lucy rocks. I agree. She's wonderful. What's up, Free Energy? What's up, Over the Road Trucker? What's up, Osito? I have a lot of places I need to go. I have a long list. What's up, Edwin? Good to see ya. Good to see ya. Good to see ya. Good morning from San Diego. All right. I like that. Me and Graham are trying to get to San Diego. We're trying to get back there. What's up, Dan? I get to see you tonight, buddy. That's awesome. I will see you tonight at the live vigilante. And some of you guys I'm going to see this weekend at the show in California. The first house show of the year in Boulder Creek, California. Can't wait for that. That's tomorrow, and I'm going to see some of you guys there. That's Boulder Creek, California. If you want to attend that show, if you're like, oh, wait, I kind of live near there. I'm in Santa Cruz or wherever. Email me. Go to ronplagone.com. Email me, and I'll hook you up with the info on how to attend that show. I'll hook you up with the producer, who is the Slow News Day. They're producing the show, and they'll give you the skinny on that. Thank you very much, Marcus, for the compliment. I'm handsome as always. And I'm surprised you're not taking advantage of the opportunity to remind me that my Penguins got swept. Are you Capitals fan, Marcus, or are you a different Marcus? Anyway, maybe you're different, but yeah, you know what I'm saying. My Penguins got swept in 4 games. I was not expecting it. I don't think anyone was. Anyway. Still gonna be a great postseason. Soleil, I was just in Atlanta, and I probably mispronounced your name, and I apologize. I was just in Atlanta in June, but we will for sure be back. We had a wonderful, wonderful time in Atlanta. We'll definitely be back. And guys, it's telling me we're over 30. We got to get started. Welcome to Get Your News On with Ron, the world's first viewer curated streaming news show. That means you guys send me stuff, and we figure out what's going on in the world. I don't see any of this stuff in advance. We figure it out. And that's how we get our news on. We get our news on literally together. So here we are doing it. Last week, I promised that we would do a fun segment on Thursday. And then what ended up happening was that's when things really went down with Julian Assange. Well, they're still going down, obviously. But there was some pressing news that day. So we did not have a light, fun topic that day like we had planned. But we will have a light, fun topic today. The one that I promised last week, but we had to switch. We're having it today. Our favorite words. What are your favorite words? What words do you love to say? What words always make you laugh? We're doing a favorite word segment because you know what? Sometimes dealing with the muck of what's going on in the world, you need to kind of let your hair down a little bit and have a little bit of fun. Bluebell, first of all, Bluebell, July 27th, Graham Elwood and I are doing a progressive comedy tour show in Las Vegas, Nevada. So there you go, Nevada. July 27th, Las Vegas, Nevada. And you can get tickets for that now at romplacone.com, and I hope to see you there, Bluebell. We're coming back to Las Vegas. Las Vegas was one of the first progressive comedy tour shows we did. We had an amazing time, so we're coming back. We're playing a different venue this time, but we're coming back to Vegas. So, hey, and it's a Saturday night. If you were thinking, I could use a Vegas weekend, July 26th, 27th. It's very pretty that time of year. You can get a lot of swimming in if you like to swim. So if you're ever thinking about a Vegas weekend, do it then. Maybe we can even do like a big progressive meetup on the Strip somewhere. Maybe the night before. We don't have our plans yet, but maybe if enough people are interested, we can do like a progressive comedy party the night before and just have like a big meetup. That would be so badass. Oh, maybe we should do that. Email me at romplacone.com if you're interested in something like that. If you're in Vegas and you organize stuff there, email me and let me know if that would be is something you'd be interested in. Romplacone.com to email me. But our favorite words, guys, I thought about this long and hard, and I got to give a big shout out to Boner. Boner is just a hilarious word. I mean, how do you not? No matter how highbrow you think you are, if somebody cleverly inserts boner, you're laughing. And if you're not laughing, let me tell you what to do. If the word boner does not incite any humor in you, here's what you need to do, all right? Get a good pair of tennis shoes on, one that you're ready to work out in. Get a good piece of rope and a good walking stick and climb until you get over yourself. That's what you need to do. You need to climb until you get over yourself. If you're just like, I can't possibly laugh at boner. Climb until you get over yourself. Boner is freaking hilarious. Come on, boner. That's great. Fart, another fun one. Poop, palindrome, brilliant. How can you go wrong with that? And then Magoo has got a... I love doing Magoo as an aside. You know, like, Magoo. I love that. I called this one guy Fingers Magoo because he was this colleague of mine in graduate school, and he was like really slow with his typing. It wasn't out of spite. He was a friend. You know, it was a fun. You know, we were all in on the joke. You know, we weren't having a joke at his expense, but I'd call him Fingers Magoo. And he would call me Media Magoo, because all my research had to do with the media and why it's corrupt. So he'd call me Media Magoo. I'd call him Fingers Magoo, and we would just Magoo it up. Dylan gives a shout out to Farty McGee, brilliant, love it. Rapscallion, that's a good one. Let me see what else you guys are saying. Blumpkin, Slow News Day, which by the way, Slow News Day. Producing the show tomorrow. Boulder Creek, California. Do you want to hang out tomorrow? Drop me an email at romplacone.com or hit up Slow News Day directly. Let's see. Conjecture. That's a fun one. Boogaloo. Oh, yeah. Bamboozle. Bamboozle's a great one. When I was in my high school days, in my garage band days, there was this one of our friends' bands. They were called Bamboozle the Kids. Or maybe it was just The Kid. It was something like that. But anyway, I always thought that was a really cool name. Guillotine. Jenna gives a shout out to Guillotine. That's a fun one. Curmudgeon. Yes, I love that. I get called a curmudgeon sometimes, which I don't know if it's deserving or not, but curmudgeon's a fun word, so I'm with you. Boondock. Eric says boondock. Now, Keen, this is interesting. So Keen says moist. Now, a lot of times, moist gets a lot of hate from people. A lot of people really do not like the word moist. I used to have a friend who, ironically enough, worked in the porn industry. Well, not porn industry. She worked for a sex toy company. So that's, I guess, whatever. It doesn't matter. The adult entertainment and whatever you want to call it. I'm trying to be fair or whatever. But yeah, she worked there, and she really hated moist and she really hated panties. Those were like her two least favorite words. She hated moist panties. And a lot of her clientele was hoping to get some moist panties. I feel like, probably, right? I mean, but anyway, she didn't like that. But so a lot of people, and I know a lot of people, moist, they're not feeling that word. I'm fine with it. I wouldn't say it's my favorite. I wouldn't say it's my least favorite either. It's just one of those, hey, it's kind of there. It's fine. Whatever. I'm cool with moist. I'm down with moist. Smorgasbord, that's a good one. Q instead of lineup, I'm with you. Onomatopoeia. Say that 5 times fast. Let's see here. You guys have some great words. Spankopita. Baba Ganoush. That's a good one. Surgerized. Oh, that's trippy. Rum Dum. We got a super chat from Rob. Andrew Yang was on THR and basically stepped back on Medicare for All. So I'm assuming you're meaning Humanist Report, and he stepped back on Medicare for All. I'll have to check that out. Gee, it wouldn't surprise me if that's the case. I'm not going to jump to conclusions because I haven't seen it, but it wouldn't surprise me if that was the case. And a certain somebody said he might flip on Medicare for All, and they took a lot of hate on YouTube when they said it. I don't know who that person was, but anyway. Dolt. That's a brilliant word. Castillo, we have big words. We have the best words. Donald Trump never told us what those best words were, by the way. He said that, he had all the best ones. He never really told us. What's up, Mike? We're talking about our favorite words. Jenna had a cat named Dingus. I have a cat named Lucy. Which, by the way, I guess I gotta mention this real quick. Chump. Celeste likes Chump. That's good. Dan, Wanker. Yes. Thank you, Wanker. As a lover of a lot of BBC comedies, Wanker is brilliant. And you know what? I'm going to quote Attila the Stockbroker. In fact, you know what? Attila the Stockbroker is going to get the song of the day today. There's a guy named Attila the Stockbroker. He is a punk poet out of England. He has been around for 30 plus years. He has this song called Guy Fawkes' Table. He wrote it in response to when Blair was backing the Iraq War during the Bush administration. And one of the lines in that song, he wrote it about how he's just sick of the system and how people aren't represented. And he encouraged people to change those lyrics and update it for today. Update it to whatever's going on contemporarily in your political sphere. So it's due for an update, basically. But one of the lines in that song, even though he's singing about England, it could totally be applied to the United States too, and pretty much anywhere else. But he says, we need an electoral system that gives every voter a voice because we're fed up with voting for wankers, and we have the right to a choice. I'm going to do that again because I flubbed it. We need an electoral system that gives every voter a voice because we're fed up with voting for wankers, and we have the right to a choice. That's Attila the Stockbroker from the song Guy Fawkes' Table. Go look that song up today. Attila the Stockbroker, Guy Fawkes' Table. Let me know if you like it. And that's today's song of the day. Dadsplaining. I like that a lot, Sal. I like that. Nimrod. You guys have some really good words. You guys have the best words. Trump got it wrong. He doesn't have the best words. The fucking Get Your News On with Ron crew has the best words. Knob slobberer. Well done, Sean. Well done, Sean. This is the weirdest start to a show. We could make it weirder. We could totally do a weirder one than this. Favorite words? We could get weirder than this. Acerbic. That's a good one. I like that. Somebody once described my humor as acerbic. Zfran, can you please let me know how to donate to this chat? That's very kind of you, Zfran. At the bottom of the chat, there's a little $sign. You can do that. Or you can become a patron over at patreon.com/Ron Placone. Putts, blowhard. I like it. I like it. You guys are great. I saw someone say punk hasn't had a political message since the 90s. That's not true. But it's a little harder to dig for now. I feel like music in general, and of course this is a Music Monday topic, but it's harder to just find music that you connect with. It's just harder. That's just the way it is, you know? Ollie, when are you coming to England, Ron? Hopefully soon. Hopefully soon. We're trying to get there. Graham Elwood and I have talked about some overseas touring with the Progressive Comedy Tour. So we are definitely working on that. We're really working on it. So, you know, Haggard, that's a fun one. Mr. Broken Oz, I emailed you about organized actions for Assange. Thank you for doing that. I will check that out, and I will spread the word. I appreciate that. Let's see. Boobies. Mizzy gives a shout out to Boobies. Shannon, come to Berlin. Berlin's one of my favorite cities. The last time I was in town, I got to go to on what's that band's called? Rammstein. I got to go on their party bus. I got to go on Rammstein's party bus, and I had this hash that was really good. When I moisturbate, I use a towel, says Zolix. And Kim Hightower gives a shout out to Sugar Tits. What movie was that from? That's from a movie. Moose Girl asked me what my shirt means. This shirt is Radio Free Nashville. That is the Pacifica affiliate in Nashville, Tennessee, where I got my start. I used to run a lefty morning show out there, and it never took off. I know that's crazy that a lefty morning show in Tennessee didn't blow up, but it didn't. We tried. Anyway, D's nuts. Yes. D's nuts. Brilliant. You guys have some really cool words. You guys have some great words. I think we crushed it on the word segment. Any final words? Thoughts, rants, and cold coffee. Wow, Bluebell, you are going back. That was the first segment that I ever did. That's how I got onto TYT Network, was Thoughts, Rants, and Cold Coffee. That was like where it all started, really. That's where it all started. Bernie or Tulsi, Ron, both. I want them to team up because I think if they don't, we're not making it out of a primary. I think that needs to be the ticket. I think if it's not, progressives don't get out of a primary, they're going to shove another corporatist down our throat, and that corporatist is going to go on to lose to Trump. That's what I think will happen. Knob Gobbler. Poop Loops. We could do this the entire show. Avocado, because it means testicle. Testicle, another fun word. Disestablishmentarianism. I like it. All right. Let's move on. We could. All right. We'll do word segment part 2. This will be a recurring theme. Occasionally we'll just go over our favorite words. And prepare for this ahead of time. Don't spoil anything yet. We're going to do least favorite words. And I bet somebody else says moist when we do. I bet there's going to be someone that says moist for... I bet moist gets a favorite and least favorite. I bet you. All right. We talked about Pete Buttigieg. We talked about that dude yesterday. He's up to some more stuff. Here's some info on him. You guys have sent some updates on what's going on with that guy. We'll touch on him first, and then we got some other news to get to. But Pete Buttigieg, guess who he is rubbing elbows with? Pete Buttigieg's increasingly popular presidential run has drawn the support of more than 24 top Democratic fundraisers, according to a list of CNBC obtained from campaign aides. The list includes people who bundled big dollar donations for Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton. Steve Elmendorf, who bundled more than $100,000 for Clinton in 2016, decided to support Buttigieg on Sunday, the day the mayor officially launched his campaign with a speech in South Bend, Indiana. So this dude, another guy in bed with the Democratic establishment, as we talked about yesterday. And look, at the end of the day, this guy... he's attempt number 3. That's what he is. Hey, do you guys like Kamala? No. Beto O'Rourke? No. Pete Buttigieg? No. Okay, how about this shot of decaf espresso laced with Ambien? That's going to be the next try. How about just this this Barbie doll where when you pull the string it just shouts out platitudes at you? Like you just pull innovation, America, the Constitution, democracy, strong, strengthen each other. Incrementalism, bipartisanship, a bipartisan marketplace of ideas. That's going to be the 5th try. They tried Kamala, they tried Beto, they tried Pete Buttigieg. No one cares. So next it's going to be shot of decaf espresso laced with Ambien. Then it's going to be, just going to be a Barbie doll. You pull the string, it just shouts out platitudes. That's what Pete Buttigieg, he is just trying number 3. They're just throwing shit at the wall, seeing what sticks. That's what the Democratic establishment is doing. Because they really don't want Bernie. They really don't want Bernie. They really don't want Tulsi. All right, so here's something else about Pete Buttigieg that you guys shared today. He is in favor of a national service program. So what's that all about? Democratic presidential candidate Pete Buttigieg on Monday night advocated a form of national public service for all young adults as a way to create unity among Americans. We really want to talk about the threat to social cohesion that helps characterize this presidency, but also just this era. One thing we could do that would change that would be to make it, if not legally obligatory, but certainly a social norm, that anyone after they're 18 spends a year in national service. He mentioned that for him and several former presidents, including John F. Kennedy and George H.W. Bush, serving in the military allowed them to meet and build trust with people of starkly different backgrounds, education, and income. Buttigieg served in the Navy from 2009 to 2017, including a deployment to Afghanistan. Buttigieg and Rep. Tulsi Gabbard are the only presidential candidates who are veterans. Wow, an article that actually mentions Tulsi Gabbard as a candidate. That's good. Buttigieg was vague about what would constitute national service, but both he and Maddow acknowledged it would most likely not be a military draft. No, because if it's a military draft, then people might start questioning our endless wars. You don't want that. Without saying the program would be mandatory, Buttigieg did suggest colleges and employers ask applicants about participation in it. The Indiana mayor said a national service program could be a tool to bridge deepening divisions in American society and increase public participation. You know what else could be a tool to do that is confronting our corrupt media structure that's basically non-existent. You know what else would be a tool to that? Standing for policies that people actually connect with. It's ironic, the guy who basically refuses to stand for anything, which is Pete Buttigieg, he's barely better than Beto O'Rourke in that regards, and that's being generous. Bernie Sanders fills up stadiums. Tulsi Gabbard has a big movement behind her that's growing. Why are they able to do that? Why are they able to mobilize people? Why is the DSA mobilizing people? There's all kinds of ways to mobilize people other than having this mandatory year of service. That, it's easy to talk about that when you're looking at it through the veil of privilege. Some people, it might not be easy. They might be working 2 and 3 jobs to support a family or to help support their family because they don't come from means at all. So this idea of doing this year of service, which I don't think he specifies whether or not there would be any compensation. So what would this national service program include? Would it include compensation? Or would it just be a year of volunteering? I mean, hey, that's a nice idea. I'd love to see a world where everybody could just do a year in the Peace Corps or something like that if they wanted to. We don't live in that world right now, though. And instead of proposing a policy to have a national year of service, why don't you propose some policies that would help make it easier for people all across the country to do something like that? To go say, hey, I'm going to go join the Peace Corps for 6 months. Because I can at least have a little bit. I have a little bit of breathing room that I can kind of take an intermission in my life. Everybody should be able to do that. A lot of people aren't. I think it's a beautiful idea that if someone wants to just be like, hey, I'm going to sublet my apartment. I have a little bit of money saved up. I'm just going to take an intermission and I'm going to go volunteer somewhere for 6 months. I'm going to go to Thailand and do this thing. I'm going to go to an underprivileged place in the United States and just help build some stuff for, a couple months. And then I'm just going to kind of party at night and just chill out. Just kind of hit the reset button on life. I love the idea of people doing that. I know some people that have done it. They were fortunate enough to come from a background that enabled them to do it. A lot of people, the thought of doing something like that is insane to them. So instead of proposing policies that would pretty much require it, why don't you propose policies that would enable people to have better quality lives so they could make the decision to do something like that? Why don't you support Medicare for all? Why don't you support living wages? Why don't you support ending the wars? Why don't you support tuition-free college? A lot of people, they can't have that year of service before or after college because they're in debt for the rest of their lives. You see how some stupid idea like this is just skipping ahead a bunch of steps? Do you see how an idea like this is just blinded by privilege? And who's he talking about it with? Rachel Maddow. This is just how disconnected they are. And maybe this idea is coming from a genuine place. I don't know for sure that it isn't. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I don't know. I don't really care. I do know that it's incredibly short-sighted. I do know that proposing something like this, this will bring people together. Just have them check out for a year and commit to this service thing. That's a luxury, Pete Buttigieg. That's a luxury that not all Americans have. In fact, a lot don't. A lot of Americans can't afford a $1,000 emergency. So you see how this is skipping ahead multiple steps? Even if it's well-intended, which maybe it is. I don't know that it isn't. Again, it doesn't really matter. This just shows how out of touch Pete Buttigieg is, how out of touch MSNBC is, how out of touch the Democratic stable is, with exception to Bernie Sanders and Tulsi Gabbard. And speaking of all the Democratic contenders, guess what they want to do? Guess what our electoral politics actively want to do? This is something we already knew. This is something we all already know, but here you have a direct quote. DNC bosses contemplating a superdelegate coup if Bernie Sanders leads in delegates. A widely shared New York Times article about the growing nervousness Democratic Party bosses have about Bernie Sanders includes one comment from a superdelegate that may prove controversial. On Tuesday, the Times' Jonathan Martin published an in-depth look into how the party's leadership is coping with the seemingly unstoppable surge Senator Bernie Sanders is currently experiencing, going from a fringe radical candidate in 2016 to the clear frontrunner in 2020. Now superdelegates don't get to vote until the second ballot at the Democratic National Convention, meaning the first ballot is just for pledged delegates. In the Democratic primary, anyone who gets 15% of the vote in any state's caucus or primary is guaranteed at least some of the pledged delegates. That means that with 19 candidates currently on the ballot, it's very possible Sanders won't get a plurality of delegates needed to clinch the primary on the first ballot. By design, the superdelegate system is there to give a boost to the establishment-favored candidate. So here's a quote from Senator Debbie Stabenow of Michigan. Should no bargain be struck by the time of the first roll call vote at the 2020 convention in Milwaukee, such as a unity ticket between a pair of the leading delegate winners? Now, let's stop right there. What is that code for? That is code for if someone like a Bernie Sanders is the clear winner, hopefully they pick an establishment candidate as their running mate, so we can try to kneecap the actual progressive as best we can. That's what that's code for. That's what unity ticket is code for. When I'm calling for a unity ticket, I'm referring to Bernie Sanders and Tulsi Gabbard because I think that the progressives need to be as big and loud as possible to not be cheated. And I think that is the biggest, loudest possible ticket we could ask for. Neither candidate's perfect. Bernie's not perfect. He's far from it. Tulsi's not perfect. She's far from it. I'm not looking for perfection in a political candidate. I don't expect that ever. But they are by far the best choices we have that have a realistic chance to be so big that they can't be stopped. By far. So, and yeah, I think if they don't pair up, we're not going to get out of the primary. They're going to shove it. And here you go. It's straight from the horse's mouth. Here's a superdelegate saying, yeah, we're looking to cheat. Should Bernie be the front runner? Well, here, let's finish the quote. The nomination battle would move to the second ballot, and under the news rules crafted after the 2016 race, that is when the party insiders and elected officials known as superdelegates would be able to cast a binding vote. The specter of superdelegates deciding the nomination, particularly if Mr. Sanders is a finalist, is highly unappetizing to party officials. If we have a role, so be it, but I much prefer that it be decided in the first round, just from a unity standpoint. So, Debbie Stabenow here is acknowledging we picked the nominee. That's what the superdelegates do. They want to have the will of the establishment be done. They don't just follow the popular vote. They don't follow the will of the people. Al Franken went against the people of his state, saying he knew better than them in Minnesota. Al Franken said he knew better than them. So this is what the superdelegates are for. They are there to stop progressives. And that's how it's sold to us, by the way. You know how the official narrative on why superdelegates are even a thing is because, McGovern happened, and he got trounced by Nixon. So we need to make sure that the poor plebs don't do that again, and don't put someone up there that they just couldn't win and would lose in a landslide. What have the superdelegates done recently? They stopped the person who could have beat Trump in favor of maybe the only candidate in American politics who was capable of losing to him in 2016. 2020 is a different story. Trump could beat a lot of people in 2020. It's a different story now. But in 2016, the superdelegates kneecapped the guy who would have beat him in favor of the candidate who was probably the only candidate that would have lost him. I think if you would have thrown Biden up there in 2016, Biden would have beat Trump. I think an establishment Democrat who wasn't Hillary Clinton probably could have beat Trump in 2016. But she was... So anyway, we don't need to rehash all that. But, so that's what the superdelegates do. They're not there to reflect the will of the people. They're there to stop the progressive. I know we know this, but here you have a direct quote. They're saying it. Well, if Bernie Sanders is in the running, that's not going to be pleasant. Why is it not going to be pleasant? Because we're going to go against that. We're going to make sure we get an establishment candidate up in there. And that establishment candidate they'll go on to lose to Trump. They won't beat Trump. They'll lose. And they'll be stuck with another Trump term. So there you go. I mean, look, boom. Look at that. The specter of superdelegates deciding the nomination, particularly if Mr. Sanders is a finalist. Why? Why? Well, because that means he's popular and we're going to go against the will of the people. If we have a role, so be it. We'll go against the will of the people if we have to. But I much prefer that it be decided in the first round just from a unity standpoint. I'd much prefer Sanders just shuts up or we get an establishment candidate in there after the first round, that the propaganda is thick enough, that the media helps us out enough, that we can stifle Tulsi Gabbard and Bernie Sanders in the first round, get them out of the running, so then we don't have to worry because we're going to get an establishment puppet to go on and lose to Trump. We're going to actively go against the will of the people. And it's because they're official. We want to prevent another McGovern. That's the explanation they give you. That's the fluff, nonsensical, insulting explanation they give you. Oh, you poor feeble-minded plebs, you might nominate another McGovern. We need to make sure you don't do that by offering up this establishment nothing who's going to go on to lose to Trump. Superdelegates shouldn't exist. They are completely undemocratic. There is one appropriate number of superdelegates. That number is 0. Superdelegates exist in the Democratic Party and not the Republican Party because the Republicans don't need them, because the Republicans are already, on the surface, the party for the elite. They're the party for the 1%, and they make no qualms about it. So they don't need superdelegates. Even when they have a, quote, outsider like Donald Trump, it's still just another plutocrat. He's still going to do more of the same, which he went on to do. He talks a little meaner. He's a little out of the box. But he's the same thing. He's the exact same thing. He is a Republican minus subtlety. That's all Donald Trump is. So they don't need superdelegates. But the Democrats, because we don't have real choices in this country, because we just have a fringe right-wing party and a center right-wing party, that's all we have in this country, as far as parties with power go, they need to make sure the working class doesn't get too loud. So they need something like superdelegates to keep the poor people at bay and keep the status quo going and keep the donor gravy train rolling. That's what this is, and here you go, right on the surface. They're saying it out in the open. They're saying it out in the open. That's why when people, when people are talking about all these other things and they throw like a sentiment out there like, our democracy is at death's door. Like, yeah, it has been for a long time. What democracy? Let me know what. Our democracy is dying. How can something die that's never been born? Democracy is a great idea. We should try it sometime. We should really give it a shot. I mean, it's like it's like when you go to it's like when you order or no you go to a store and you get these like real fruit bars and they say they're real fruit, but then you find out that actual fruit is like the 10th ingredient. Like the first ingredient is sugar, the second ingredient is water, the third ingredient is some ridiculous syrups that are basically just sugar in a different format. And then there's juice concentrate further down the line. And then like by the 10th ingredient, there was maybe a little bit of apple that was in there. That's what our democracy is. That's the type of democracy. It's democracy. It's real democracy. Oh, with a hit of the first ingredient though is superdelegates, and then the electoral college, another ingredient. We have all these other ingredients. A propagandized media, a status quo seeking ruling class, a plutocracy, a system that goes against public opinion 100% of the time. We have all that somewhere down there. You do get to go into a ballot box. And there you have it, just right out in the open. We don't want to have to cheat the will of the people, but if we have to, we will. Superdelegates. We are very tragically, ironically named the Democratic Party. All right. All right, a little more election news, then we're going to dismount because you know how I get. If I talk about electoral politics too much, I eventually it's just too annoying. It's way too fucking annoying, isn't it? But here's some news from Beto O'Rourke. Beto O'Rourke, and keep in mind, what is Beto O'Rourke's slogan? Stand on something, stand for nothing. He rejects Elizabeth Warren's plan to break up Amazon. Beto O'Rourke said he would not want to break up Amazon, which others in the Democratic presidential field have proposed. Elizabeth Warren unveiled a policy plan in March that would dismantle a number of large tech companies, which she and many other Democrats have characterized as too powerful. I don't know what many they're referring to there, but anyway, O'Rourke instead said the Federal Trade Commission should focus on other areas of corporate concentration to make the economy run fairly. Well, what would Beto O'Rourke do instead? I think we need to do more to ensure dynamism in our economy and address corporate concentration. I don't know that breaking up Amazon is the way to do that. Corporate concentration is an issue, I admit that, but I don't know if we need to break up the biggest online retailer the world has ever seen, who is responsible for about 50% of all online commerce. I don't know if we need to do that. 50%, meaning all other online commerce combined accounts for half of what they get. But that's corporate concentration an issue, but not there. The guy who has a deal with the CIA, who also runs Whole Foods now, who owns a newspaper, who is next to the Pentagon, who pretty much dictates shipping in this country, who has the biggest online retailer the world has ever seen, who is cooperating with facial recognition to the FBI and the police, who has secret meetings with weapons contractors. We don't even know what happens in them. Who is worth billions and wants to not even give his, and it's not that he wants to, it's that he doesn't even give employees living wages. Yeah, corporate concentration is an issue, but don't worry about that. Really, Beto? Really, Beto? That's an insane notion. If you say corporate concentration is something I'm concerned about, but Amazon's fine. You're not concerned about corporate concentration, period. You're not concerned about corporate concentration. So when someone tells you it's an issue, but they're fine with Amazon, they're not concerned about corporate concentration. Beto O'Rourke, not concerned about corporate concentration. Andrew Yang, not concerned about corporate concentration. And most. I mean, Pete Buttigieg. Elizabeth Warren says she has... Take it with a grain of salt. I mean, she's good at yelling at the problem, but, she's had some policy. I mean, All right, so let's go on to this thing. I'm grateful for people who are talking about different ways to ensure that at a time of historic corporate concentration and vast disparity in wealth and income, that we look for ways to ensure that everybody can participate in the economy. What a bunch of nothing bullshit, he added. That we try to encourage small business development and growth, which is suffering. All right, so this is nothing. I want to see. Okay, O'Rourke also said that the Federal Trade Commission should place more intense scrutiny on smaller corporations. What a fucking idiot. I think there needs to be further reviews of mergers and acquisitions, not just at the highest levels. Well, you don't want further review of mergers and acquisitions at the highest levels. You don't see that as a problem. Okay, but sometimes it's some of the lower levels that sort of escape the attention of the radar of the FTC. But yeah, I don't know about breaking up Amazon. Small corporations. The big ones, they already won. The small ones, we should review more. And by review more, he means maybe talk about something being bad and then doing nothing about it. That's what he means. Let's look at the small corporations. The ones that we're trying to stop from getting bigger. We'll wag our finger at them if we need to, and if they don't have enough power to do anything about it, great. What a bullshit nothing answer that's basically... His answer could be summed up as, I really like the donor class. I really want to continue receiving their money. I don't want to rock the boat. I stand for absolutely nothing. But here's a word salad that will hopefully make it appear like I actually give a shit. That's what Beto O'Rourke could have said. And he could have stood up on a table and done an impression of a conductor. Well, he did it. Beto O'Rourke, stand on something, stand for nothing. Except for the donor class. That's what he stands for. All right. We have some cool news, I swear. Here's something that I just kind of thought was neat. Well, first we're going to do a municipal broadband story, and we are going to go to Mississippi. Mississippi, a state that I actually performed in for the first time recently, last month in March. I performed in Mississippi for the first time. So local communities in the state of Mississippi have the legal authority to develop publicly owned internet networks and offer broadband, meaning the city can offer internet, can build an internet infrastructure for citizens and residents and businesses, or any utility to the general public. When it comes to bonding in order to financing deployment for broadband infrastructure, however, the law isn't as cut and dry. In order to stay on the right side of the law, the community of Columbus, Mississippi, decided to obtain permission from the state legislature to issue bonds for a $2.75 million expansion of their existing fiber optic network. Things didn't work out as well as they hoped, thanks to powerful lobbying influence in Jackson. So this whole thing is stuck in committee. Well, why is it stuck in committee? They want to try to build municipal broadband in their city. They want to have city-owned internet. Why is this stuck in committee? Well, Representative Jeff Smith is chair of the House Ways and Means Committee and introduced HB 1741. This would have granted permission for the city of Columbus to issue bonds to fund the infrastructure for better connectivity. Smith, who is also a board attorney for Columbus Light Infrastructure, Columbus Light and Water, filed the bill because past opinions from state attorneys general conflict the interpretation of the law. Bond attorneys told the utility board that the safest way forward would be to approach the Mississippi state legislature for permission to bond. The bill was directed to the House Local and Private Committee, but never received a hearing. Why? Because Senate leadership would not let the bill advance. We were told lobbyists from Comcast and the other big cable providers had sat down with Lieutenant Governor Tate Reeves and encouraged him to kill 3 similar bills. He's the president of the Senate. So when we heard that, we knew it wasn't going to make it. So even in Mississippi, place like Mississippi, a rural place, They're trying to stop municipal broadband. How do they stop it? They meet with elected officials to try to make sure that bills can't go forward. Because why? If the bills go forward, the public's going to respond to it. If bills go forward, they're going to find out, yeah, we have every right in the world to do this. We have every right in the world to do our own municipal internet. Because keep in mind, big cable was prepared for muni broadband. They have a lot of red tape in place so that it's hard for cities and communities to build their own city internet. But cities that really want to do it, they're finding ways that they have the right to do it. Because they do have the right to do it. They have a constitutional right to build something like that, and they're finding ways to justify that, and they're doing it. Charlemont, Massachusetts is doing it. Chattanooga, Tennessee did it years ago. Sandy, Oregon's doing it. Tacoma, Washington's doing it. Oberlin, Ohio already does it. Towns in Minnesota are doing it. And go to muninetworks.org, which is what this article's from. Let me make sure I got the... Yeah, muninetworks.org, M-U-N-I, networks.org, to find out cities all over the country that are doing it. Go to Next Century Cities to become a member to look into building internet infrastructure in your community. So that's what they do. The big lobbyists meet with elected officials and say, kill this bill. And then elected officials get it stuck in committee. So there's some muni broadband news. Now, here's something interesting. I actually don't know what this article is all about. I just saw the headline, and it looked like a really fun, appealing, quirky article to kind of end our week on. So here we go. If your city doesn't have a bike mayor, it could soon. Why? Because Portlandia was a fucking popular show. Portlandia was great. It was very funny. I actually ran into Fred Armisen recently, and I complimented a DJ set he did 2.5 years ago. Because next time Fred Armisen's in an interview, and they say, what is the nerdiest thing anyone's ever said to you? I want him to have an answer for that question. I feel like I gave him the answer. He can be like, dude, I was in this comedy green room, and one of the comics who was walking by, I said hello, and he talked about a DJ set I did 2.5 years ago. I don't even remember doing it. I had to think about when did I DJ'd at Amoeba in Hollywood the one day, and this dude was referencing songs I played. What a nerd. Holy shit, what a nerd. Fred Armisen asked that interview next to, hey, Fred, what's the nerdiest that this kid? He referenced, I don't know if he'd call me a kid or not. I'm he probably, maybe he wouldn't, I get it. But I feel like I gave him an answer to that question. I feel like that was right. But anyway, so bike mayors. Let's see what this is all about. If your city doesn't have a bike mayor, it could soon. The position would help coordinate between bikers, government, and nonprofits was pioneered in Amsterdam. By the end of 2019, there will be around 200 in the world. When the first bicycle mayor, a person who serves as a connecting point between city departments, nonprofit, and other bike advocates, was chosen in Amsterdam in 2016, the idea was to help an already bike-obsessed city become even more bikeable. But the program was never intended to only be about Amsterdam. The nonprofit behind the idea aims to bring bike mayors to 200 cities by the end of 2019. The program is already in nearly 30 cities from Sao Paulo to Istanbul. We really want to try and take that Dutch approach and not only use the culture here as a playground for new ideas, but then take that approach and those ideas and work around the world very quickly. So there's a bicycle mayors program. So the mayors aren't part of local government, okay, but they're volunteers who are recommended by local cycling groups and sometimes voted on by the public in an unofficial election. How it works in Amsterdam might be different from how it works in Beirut or Bangalore, but the idea is the same. You stand in the middle of all the stakeholders across the city. That's the cyclists, the advocates, the government bodies, the political leadership, and you try to listen to all those groups and identify what the areas are where you can really accelerate some change and make some impact by bringing all those groups together. Each bicycle mayor focuses on the local issues that are most relevant. That's awesome. So they just kind of have a bicyclist advocate who listens to the community and is the go-between and helps coordinate between elected officials and people and different needs and agendas and policy ideas. So bringing it back to the last story, one thing I'm working on in my town in Pasadena, I'm trying to get municipal broadband internet to Pasadena. And when it got to the city council floor, they told us we couldn't afford it. Pasadena, California. That's where Parks and Rec is filmed. That's where Big Bang Theory is based off of. It's a city in Southern California. It's got a few bucks. Mississippi. There's a town in Mississippi. We discovered a town in Mississippi that is trying to do a muni broadband project. Somehow they can afford it, but Pasadena can't. Anyway. So if I had a bicycle mayor, I would go to the bicycle mayor. I would raise these issues to the bicycle mayor, and that bicycle mayor would kind of be my representative for city council meetings and stuff like that, which they moved our city council meetings in Pasadena to 5 p.m. on Mondays. Not an easy time to make for most people. Southern California's got a lot of traffic. People commute. A lot of people work 9 to 5s. A lot of people work in the service industry. This is not an easy time. They know that. They used to have it at 6. I think it was 6:30 even. That was easier to attend for a lot of people. They changed it. Why? Because there were some police brutality issues, and people were showing up and protesting. And it could have been because we kept showing up for muni broadband too. I don't know. But they changed that. So anyway, I think this is really cool. I think that every town, and so here, let me find this website so you can see, I mean, hey, maybe you want to be the bike mayor in your town. I think it's a really good idea. I think it's a cool way to get more people interested in local politics. I think it's a cool way to bridge the gap via cycling between citizens and elected officials. And again, local government is where you really do have a voice. So go to bycs.org. 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 I said the URL 3 times because I know that when this clip goes out later, there will still be people in the comments who are going, "You should tell us what the URL is. Why don't you tell us why don't you include," and I'll include it in the description too. I'll include the URL in the description. But people, why don't you include it? bycs.org. Let me see what you guys are saying, and that's how we're going to end the show. Edwin says, anything cycling, I'm for big time. I am too. Dan, I ride my bicycle every day in Los Angeles, meaning that I'm a bicycle commuter. I can be extremely dangerous at any second. Empathy helps functional and safer engineering. People take risks in cages. Dan, you should volunteer to be the bike person. You should be Los Angeles's bike person. I'll vote for you. They have unofficial elections. You got my vote. I'm not a good enough bicyclist to be the person. I think I could do it in Pasadena maybe. That'd be too much. Los Angeles would be, but Pasadena maybe. Pasadena is fairly flat. I might be able to pull that off. I still think there's probably someone way more qualified than me. I wish I could ride a bike. It's perfect weather for it, but my knees won't take it anymore. I feel you. Come on, Ron. Riding a bike is like riding a bike. So the last time my bike has a flat tire, and I've been wanting to fix it for a long time, and I have been neglectful on it, which is bad. I got to do that. But the last time I rode my bike, I didn't think it through, because and when I say ride, I mean rode it for errands, right? So I rode my bike to go to pick up some pillows. I needed some pillows. So I rode my bike to go do that. And what I totally didn't think about was that I had to lug all these pillows home. Pretty dumb to not think about that, but I didn't. So I had this backpack and these 2 carry bags full of pillows just all over my body while I'm riding my bike. And I looked freaking ridiculous. So I'm riding my bike, and it wasn't that far, so I made it. But as I was pulling into my house, this lady sees me. She's parking her car, and she sees me. And she just looks at me, and she's like, honey, do you need some help? And I was like, I think I got it. I'm like close to my house. Because like it was like I went like this. Like here's how I was. I was on the bike, and my neck was, because of the pillows. Like I had to ride it like this because I had these pillows on, and then these on, and then I had, I looked ridiculous riding my bike that way. But anyway, so that's fun. All right. Thank you guys very much for the Super Chat contributions. Let me get through these. I already did Rob and Mr. Broken Oz. Z-Fran, thanks, Rob, for telling the truth in the news. Come to the Bay Area and do a show with Graham. We'll definitely be back up there for sure. Krillin, I gotta keep it real. If public at large doesn't care about Flint, they will never give a damn about climate change. I agree. Let's see here. Being vocal about legal weed will bring a lot of 18 to 30 and independent voters. That's who Obama won with. I agree, Sean. Yeah. Castillo, Ron will be the mayor of Boulder Creek, Manana. Thank you very much, Castillo, and I can't wait to see you there. Guys, tomorrow night, I am in Boulder Creek, California. I'm doing my first house show of the year. If you want to attend that show, email me at ronplacone.com. Go to ronplacone.com and email me. There's a contact button. Fill that out. Contact me. And I'll let you know how to attend that show. It's going to be fun. Boulder Creek, can't wait to see you. Other tour dates coming up. May 1st, I'm going to be in Indianapolis, Indiana. Get your tickets now, ronplacone.com. Indianapolis, Indiana, May 1st. May 11th through 13th, Graham Elwood and I are going to Salt Lake City and Boise. If you want to attend that show, get your tickets now. Do not wait. Get your tickets now. You got to get those tickets. June, East Coast. We're coming to the East Coast. Philly, Boston, New York City, New Haven, Connecticut, Boston, Massachusetts, DC, Baltimore. All those shows are booked and confirmed. Go to ronplacone.com and get your tickets now. We're going to have some special guests on those shows too. That's a promise. And July 27th, Vegas, baby. Can't wait to see you in Nevada on July 27th. Las Vegas, Nevada. And hey, maybe we'll do a meetup the night before. Drop me a line at ronplacone.com if that sounds cool to you. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for being part of this. If you want to support this show on the sustainability end, please do consider becoming a patron. I want to do more streams. I want to do bonus content. I want to do all kinds of cool stuff. But I need some support to do that. Patreon.com/ronplacone. If you got an extra $1 a month, want to throw it my way, great. You get all kinds of exclusive perks and contents, and you help me keep this show on the air, and you help me expand this show. If not, totally get it. Like and share these videos. It means the world. It means so much. Please do that, not just for me, but for all the content creators that you love. And put it on autoplay. Let all the ads play through. That's how our channels get paid. You know the drill. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for another wonderful week, by the way. It's been a great week. We've had another good one here at Get Your News On with Ron. It's been a short one because I was on the road some. But I'll be back Monday. And we have a Music Monday. We missed last Music Monday. So I'm stoked for a Music Monday with y'all. That'll be great. I will see y'all then. And have a wonderful weekend. The podcast drops tomorrow. You know the drill. Consider the news gotten. That doesn't even make sense.